Hey, vinyl community. It's Greg from Three Dimensions of Music. I'm coming back at you with another CD and vinyl finds. Past couple weeks, I've been sitting on them and listening to them. I was hoping to have a couple of comments to make. I'm always just showing them, and that's great too. But I pick up a lot of views for these videos, and I'm kind of pleased. I kind of like watching them myself when people buy stuff and show it off. And like again, most of the stuff I got was $2, $1, sometimes 50 cents. The CDs, and then the records are anywhere from $4 or less. That's what I try to keep uh, my ceiling on things. But first off, I wanted to say to everybody that watches, Merry Christmas and Happy Thanksgiving. It's that time of year. Everybody's saying, right? I'm sorry. I don't really do any editing, so I kind of looked at this after, and I noticed that the pole here that you see in the way, it's a my Festivus pole. So please excuse that, but it is the season. Um, I watched Gary at Physical Format Rock and Roll. Little name drop there. This is to Gary and all my other friends that give me comments. I appreciate it. This is a chocolate porter made in Pottstown. I'm sorry, made in Pottstown, New York. I did get a comment that the guy can't hear me and he can't see everything perfectly. So I'm trying to give you a different vantage point, trying to keep my voice up and stuff. But this is what I'm having today: is Yingling's Hershey's chocolate porter, and it is delicious. Love it, love it. Anyways, let me get started here. Some of these were at a church sale that we went to, my wife and I, and some were from a flea market. My usual guy out there, that he's from South Carolina. He travels around. He picks up collections and stuff. So the one morning we went out there, it was kind of brisk and cold. It was about 35 degrees. I didn't think anybody would be out there, but he was out there. And he had this all sitting out on the table. Now, he had a couple of box sets, and usually box sets, they're in a box. They got a nice pamphlet and book. So these box sets I got don't have the book, but they had the CDs. And the first one, which I was really pleased to get, especially after listening to it, is it's called Steely Dan Citizen. It's a Citizen box set. It's 4 discs. Disc 1, you can see they're not too fancy, but I'm telling you, they sound fantastic. These are 4 CDs of Citizen. That's number 3, number 4, and number 2. The CDs all look the same. Lots of songs on the back, but the way they did it is they're from the first 7 studio albums lined up all in a row. So some CDs, I guess some of the complaints on the CDs, and not mine because I don't really care, but the songs bleed into the next record, the next release. So you get the first record, second record, and so on. But I read one article about this particular box set, because Steely Dan puts out a lot of stuff, that the digital master that they used for these was a larger digital master. So I'm not sure if it meant the file was denser. They weren't happy with the normal master they were handing out to make CDs to the places. So when this was made, it was personally attended to by a couple of fellows in Steely Dan, McDonald and Fagan, and they really liked this release. So I got lucky with this. This was a box set. I think I got it for like $5 or $6. He usually discounts. Normally it's $2 a CD, but when he gets a box set like this, he might do $5 or $6. So I kind of got a package deal, because this is just the beginning of what I bought from this fella. The next one. And believe it or not, this is the first time that I've had in my collection, and you probably want to spank me for this, but Tom Petty. This is right now I got, as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 CDs. Unfortunately, there's a 6th CD, number 1, that in my excitement, it wasn't there, but I bought it anyways. But I had walked away from the fellow, and I came back right away, and I said, "Oh, did I leave one behind?" I was missing the number 1. I didn't even see that right away, because I figured, wow, 5 CDs. And this comes in a box set too, with a pamphlet, a book. There's a lot of songs on here Let me just pick the first one out. This is called Spoiled and Mistreated. And you can see there's a lot of studio, outtakes, all kinds of goodies. And there's three. This is called Good Booty. Good Booty. The other side, so it must be B-sides. Through the Cracks. And Nobody's Chosen. You guys can look these up if you want to, if you have the desire to figure out. I haven't listened to them all yet. I'll be honest with you, I was not a big, never was a big Tom Petty fan. No particular reason. I just choose other music besides him. It's not that he's bad or anything, but hey, when I seen something like this, what a way to fill the hole to experience Tom Petty. And I may turn out really liking him, so who knows? Because you don't give these guys the time of day sometimes because you only have so much time in the day. The next box set I got from the same fella. Unfortunately, there's no box, and it was missing a CD from one of the CDs from what I found out. But this one is the Byrds, and normally I don't have too many of the Byrds because that's kind of before my time where I started listening to music. But now that I've listened to the Byrds, this is called Full Throttle. It actually is a 4-disc set, and it's like all the Byrds songs. I mean, you can see how many songs are on that one. There's a ton of songs, all the ones you're used to hearing. We Have Ignition. So this was part of a box set too. But again, I got 3 out of the 4. I wish I'd have got all 4, but he didn't have them either. I just took what I could get. Isn't that a song, BTO? You take what you can get? I think. I'm not sure. Anyways, that kind of, and they came in boxes like this. Now, this is one of my box sets that I have, an ELP, The Return of the Manicore. Great box set. It's got 4 CDs in it. But that's what these other box sets came in, something like this, which was missing. And then this one, I think I had, yeah, there's no book in this one. I don't know if there was a book, but the CDs are there, and that's what's really nice. This is probably missing the book. But again, I got this for $10 back at the flea market a long time ago. Anyways, I digress. Hey, I did get a book in the other day. I don't normally talk about books too much, but if you guys are familiar with Music Direct, they send this out once a year. It's like a Christmas catalog. You know it's the holidays, right? Yeah, look at that. Isn't that great? Anyways, Music Direct, they have all kinds of stuff in here. I call it pornography for audiophiles. Some of the stuff in here is unbelievable. There's a phono cartridge, a Grado, which I would love to have. It's actually the middle of the pack. It's $6,000. I'll never see it. My goodness. The other one's $13,000, and the first one, well, we won't even talk about the first one. It's not even worth talking about. It's $1,000, I guess, right? Anyways, I digress on that. One of the great finds I got a couple weekends ago, and I really love this. Jeff Healey. As the years go passing by, I didn't even know. To me, this would have been a grail if I'd have known about it. I like Jeff Healey. I've always liked him. Great blues guitarist, just unbelievable. He actually is a blind guitarist. He's passed since, but these concerts, he did 3 concerts in Germany, and evidently he had such a good time in Germany that these concerts turned out to be, after reading about it, they turned out to be his favorites. He had the best time in Germany, and they're spaced 5 years apart. First one's May 10th of 89, then April 2nd of 95, and then October 31st of 2000. And they're all at the same place, so all these people in Germany got to see these concerts, and what a treat it must have been. And I got this for $1. There's a 3 CD set, and this lady had to be, I think she said she turned 91, and she had a box of CDs. This was in the box of CDs. Nice booklet in here about Jeff Healey and the trip and the fun that he had. Now, I went to England for 2 years, and I had fun, so I can imagine just going to Germany, being in a different country, the treat that it must have been. But anyways, some of the playing on here blew me away. The guitar, the jams. It's just unbelievable. There's one song he does called Angel Eyes. It always makes me think of my wife when I hear that song because of the verses, the words. If you listen to the words of Angel Eyes, it just reminds me of my wife and how humble I am for her to fall in love with me. Anyways, great, great. If you ever see this, you've got to pick it up. I don't know. I don't think it's available on vinyl, but I'm so excited about this. This is one of those exciting finds of the summer for me. For me, anyway. Next one, I'll go through it a little bit quicker. Elmore James. I don't have any Elmore James, so I couldn't give it. I mean, for $1, you can't. Some of the stuff is just $1 or $2, okay? Izzy Stradlin, 117 Degrees. Izzy Stradlin, turns out he was a guitarist that was a co-founder of Guns N' Roses. He was a rhythm guitarist in that band, and he split off and did his own thing. And this is actually a really good CD. Izzy Stradlin, and I believe he's got a proper name, but I think he goes by Izzy. 117 Degrees. It's blues rock. Next one, and I think Steve Carlson. Oh, look at that name drop. Steve Carlson, go sub him up. Steve Carlson, got some funk, Steve. Got some funk in the house. Parliament. It's a 2 CD set. Got this for $1 a CD. And it is funk from the word go. Both CDs. So it's kind of like a filler for me because I don't have too much funk. I have some reggae. Now I got a little bit of funk. Okay, next one. Eddie Kendricks, a little bit of soul too. This is called The Ultimate Collection of Eddie Kendricks. So that was pretty cool. And these are all in really good condition. Next one, Beck Mellow Gold. I think this is their 3rd release. I have one other one. I think it was their original one. So this is the second Beck that I have in my collection of CDs. A lot of people do like Beck. I'm not that familiar with them. I'm very familiar with this guy, Stanley Clarke. I haven't seen this before, though. It's called the Bass IC Collection, Bass-IC Collection. It's jazz fusion, excellent stuff. The guy just rocks out with this CD. A lot of great songs on here. Some of them he done before. School Days, of course, that's an album. I have the Silly Putty, Rock and Roll Jelly. I mean, all these songs are just excellent, excellent songs. Stanley Clarke from Return to Forever. That's where I first discovered Stanley. Next one was Randy Newman. I haven't listened to him yet, but I know who he is. I understand that this is a pretty good one to have. So for $1, I just couldn't turn it down. Best of Randy Newman. Sometimes you don't have to say a lot about these guys. This one here was interesting. Some of you may have heard of him. I really kind of knew him on the periphery because I listened to, I think one time I watched Mr. Maslow. He was talking about this fella, Bob Mould. He's from Husker Du. He was the leader of Husker Du, and he went off and did some solo work. This one I think is his first one. It's called Workbook. And I wasn't sure what I would like, if I would like him. But actually I do. I really like Bob Mould. I liked a lot of the songs on these CDs. There's 2 of them. This one was the Workbook, it's called. And the next one is, I think it's just called Bob Mould, all by itself. But it actually some very good songs, very nice listen. Bob, M-O-U-L-D, Bob Mould. I enjoyed it. I have a lot of this either on vinyl or CD. Spiral Gyra. This one was particularly good. It had a great rhythm, a lot of great horns. The drumming on here and everything's just fantastic. This was a good listen. Spiral Gyra. It's called Dreams Beyond Control. And as you can see, I am not giving up on CDs. Some people are. Not me. No brother. Not for as inexpensive as they are. Now these were kind of reaches for me, both of these, because I wasn't sure. I took a quick look on my phone, got an idea, but when you're plugging through, you might miss something if you're just sitting there listening to something. So some of my friends in Great Britain may have, or England as it's otherwise known, this is called Swerve Driver. I believe they're from Great Britain. Rays, Swerve Driver Rays. I kind of like these CDs. They're different. They're alternative. Not alternate, but alternative rock kind of. A little bit of psych maybe. Guided by Voices. They're a popular band. They make a lot of albums. This one is like a conglomeration of a lot of songs. I mean, there's a ton of songs, as you can see on that CD. But they bleed into like 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes, not very long, and they bleed into the next. So actually, it's a pretty good listen. I enjoyed that Guided by Voices. That was a new one to me. Next one, kind of funny because I saw my friend out in Middle PA here, Stoner from Stoner's Stashbox. Go visit his channel. You'll love it. He picked up a Ministry album, and then at the same time, I picked up this Ministry CD. First Ministry I got in my collection, and I'm telling you what, song after song, this stuff here. And this one's a Ministry. It's called "The Mind Is a Terrible Thing to Taste." Okay, it's just raw, constant jam constantly. Next one. This is nice, easy listening. This is Chet Atkins, Sales. It's got Earl Klug. It was Earl Klug on there, and there was two guitarists on there with. Or I should have looked this up. I knew it was Earl Klug. The other guitarist was where are you at there? Rhythm guitars. Mark Knopfler. So you got Mark Knopfler, Earl Klug, Chet Atkins. A nice, easy listening. It sounded beautiful. Anything that Chet Atkins does is first rate. It's just pretty much strumming guitar though. Not a lot of singing. Okay, next one. This is a shout out to my friend Stoner. I think you'd really love this. Peter Gabriel. It's called Music from the Last Temptation of Christ. It's called Passion, the one that Martin Scorsese did. It's actually very, very good. It's on Verve. So I was kind of stoked to see this sitting there for $1. And actually it's a great listen. It's got some great drumming, some great percussion, a little bit of chant here and there. Not much singing at all because it's a score for the movie. But hey, it's a fantastic CD to listen to. It really is. Next one up. This will be kind of a name drop for the old goat. Dave Brubeck Christmas, a little more jazz. I enjoyed jazz Christmas CDs. I gave one to Tony from Two from the Trunk, another name drop. I gave him a CD. It was Dave Grusin, I believe, because I had a double of that, and I liked that CD. And then I saw this Dave Brubeck, and it's a real nice listen. It's jazz, of course, Dave Brubeck, but he does all the standards on a piano. You can't beat it. It's on Telarc. These the last two here for CDs were great finds, for me anyways. Essential Stevie Ray Vaughan, Double Trouble. I got so much Stevie Ray Vaughan, but this was a limited edition 3.0. What that means is there's 3 discs in there. And again, I think this was $2. And there's a shitload of songs on here from Stevie Ray Vaughan, some live, some studio, but really well done. Sounds great. So this was a good find. Stevie Ray Vaughan, so I couldn't leave that behind. You know how that wording goes. This was an oddball. Never seen it before, didn't even know it existed. This is a Who album that Pete Townsend and Roger Daltrey did 24 years after the Who broke up. So this was done in, I think, 2005. So that's kind of a little interesting note on that. They have a DVD of a concert that they did live at Lyon, and then it's not the same songs as what's on here. This is a different set of songs, the live DVD, which is very good. And Endless Wire was their the new album that they made, Pete Townsend and Roger Daltrey, and it actually is very, very good. Pete Townsend plays the acoustic guitar and sings on a lot of songs, and Roger Daltrey just sings, and there's Pete Townsend just playing acoustic. That's it, and it was just so nice to listen to. It's so clean and clear. It's called The Who. What's this called? Endless Wire. So you ever see this? Pick it up. Endless Wire. So that kind of covers the CDs. Thanks for hanging in. I have some records to show you if you want to hang for just a few more records here. Okay, now I got this a couple weeks ago. Allman Brothers Beginnings. I know it's no great shakes. Probably a lot of people have it. I didn't though. I have about 8 Allman Brothers albums, and I never got this one. I was looking for one in decent shape. This one fit the bill. I think this was $4 for 2 records. This is all their early stuff, and I'm pretty sure it's live. Yeah, Allman Brothers, as you can see, it's live. Yeah, really. This is when these were they were in their their heyday, and I'm not sure where they made it at. Let's see. Should have looked that up. But anyways, there's a recorded. Yeah, it might have been in the studio. Anyways, beginnings. Next one to add to my Joe Walsh collection. But seriously, folks, pretty good condition on Asylum Records. I hope I'm not getting no glare from that ring. But that's the other side. I'm not going to open up the gatefold for you for these older albums. You probably know what they look like already. I just want to show you what I got. This one was I'm sorry, I'm talking the wrong direction. This one was called Iron and Wine, the Shepherd's Dog. Never heard of Iron and Wine before. I need to take a sip of this delicious beer. You can see the label, unusual label. I believe these are from England too, Iron and Wine. I thought it was psychedelic. I have not listened to it yet because I got to run it through a second cleaning cycle. I gave these a preliminary cleaning through the spin clean, and now I have to do a vacuum cleaning on them. So I haven't listened to these yet. I'm really behind on my listening, but I guess you feel sorry for me on that one, huh? AC/DC Back in Black. This was in really, really good shape. So I bought it. It was part of that guy's collection where I'm showing you now. $4 for this. He wouldn't come down from $4 each, but I thought that was very fair for as good condition as these were. What can you say, AC/DC Black and Black? I have it on CD, but when you can get it on vinyl for pretty cheap, you grab it. This one was interesting. Normally I don't pick up Elvis. I like Elvis, but I don't normally buy his stuff. But I thought, well, this was in great shape. Elvis Presley, RCA, Victor, all his Blue Suede Shoes was on here. It's kind of a song I like, so I bought it. Elvis. Now this one was, I think, a dollar record here. George Carlin, FM and AM. Really good shape. I like George Carlin. I don't have much of him, so I figured I'm not going to leave this guy behind. I've always loved his pithy humor. Another band I'm not a big fan of, but when I find them really cheap, this was a buck. Styx, Touchstone. Not a big Styx fan, but whoever had this probably played it very little because it's in really good shape. But the Styx albums generally don't sound that great to me. I'm not sure why. I don't never have much luck with the Styx albums. This one I got because I like the cover. I'm not a Hall & Oates fan per se. I know they made a lot of albums, and that's on Atlantic. But that cover just was so cool. Abandoned Luncheonette. So if anybody's ever heard of this album and want to comment on it, I'd appreciate it. Let me know. I haven't listened to it yet. Obviously, I've got to double clean it. This one was an unusual find here. Bruce Springsteen. I believe it's an extended EP, I guess it's called. It's got special 4-track 12-inch. So there's 2 on one side, 2 on the other. Really nice shape. Probably played once. So I bought it too. It's on Columbia. It's called Chimes of Freedom, Bruce Springsteen. I've been getting into a lot of Bruce Springsteen lately for sure. Honorable mention. Everybody's showing this guy on Fantasy. Couldn't pass it up. I have some Credence, but this looked like a nice one to get in the collection because it's live at the, everybody knows, Royal Albert Hall. And generally when I listen to stuff from Royal Albert Hall, it's done well. And this was done by, what was I going to say? It's done, let's see, Abbey Road Studios. Yeah, it's a craft recording now. So I'm pretty pleased I got that for $15. And then this was runner-up. Honorable mention. This was Walmart special too. David Bowie. Ziggy Stardust. And like Tony, I watched Tony, Two from the Trunk. He was talking about his wife, kind of let him look through the records. And I kind of get that pleasure myself. My wife lets me buy some from Walmart from time to time. But believe me, I do spend some money at my local record store. Those guys see a lot of my money. She'll let you know about that. Hey, one last thing I wanted to say. Hi, London. I see you. Hi, London. That's my granddaughter, or one of them. That's the joys of the holidays, coming up with all the kids. Anyways, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Happy holidays to you. Hopefully everything will go good for the new year for us. It's going to be interesting.